The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
No, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Hi, everybody. It's the Nico and Paige show. We're back. Yes. How's it going, Paige?
I'm glad to be
welcome
back.
back to
Hello,
the show.
tigers and tigresses. Good to see ya.
Well, welcome to a happy Friday, everybody, and it's going to be a great day here on the Living a Primal Lifestyle show, and the number here is 877-927-6648. And just to remind you that we do have a newsletter out there and got plenty of information to keep you healthy, wealthy, and wise, so keep on trading. And that's really what we want to talk about here is health.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Mike said in our the intro.
Yep.
It's all about doing your own research, and that's what we're doing. We're researching stuff. We love learning, and we want to share it with you all. And then it kind of snowballs because...
and there's so much research out there now. There's this whole thing going on with the Ancestry Foundation. And,
that's fascinating. You were telling me about that.
Yeah, and it's a foundation that meets once a year, and it's really a paleo-type style of not only talking about eating, but also talking about, living
Lifestyle.
conditions. Yeah, lifestyle.
AncestryFoundation.com.
I don't know if that's the thing or not,
Probably
but
just
it's on
Google it.
it's on YouTube. If you Ancestry Foundation is the channel on YouTube, so you should be able to find it. But plenty of people like Rob Wolf and Mark Sisson and all the people involved with paleo in there talking about their own research. Some is a little dry, but I mean it's really opened my eyes to a lot of things.
And it kind of brings us back to that topic we were saying, paleo, primal, primitive, ancestral, semantics, words.
I think what the basis of the whole foundation is, and my way of thinking, I know you too, Paige, is that this is our starting point. It makes sense to look at what we ate for millions of years, and really not only but eating, but now I think, too, the lifestyle that we had that was so successful in making us what we are, that's really changed in the modern era, changed in maybe 20 years in a lot of instances, some of it 100 years, but, a very short amount of time, and all of a sudden our environment is gone. No longer do we live out in the wild.
And we don't experience the stress of being chased by a saber-toothed tiger.
Exactly.
We experience that stress 24/7 driving in a car, and how, in effect, we are actually turning into a different animal.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. One of the chapters in there, they were talking about how the best way to protect ourselves from a very wild environment, because in Africa especially, when we were very primitive, a lot of predators, and they were all chasing us. So the best thing was numbers. So that's how the whole concept of a tribe.
Setting up your own tribe.
Setting up your tribe, get to protect yourself from predators, because the more of you there are, the better chances of the tribe's survival. So I thought that was really cool.
And it's kind of neat because when you think about it, like with your jiu-jitsu tribe, that's really what you have there.
Well, we think in a tribal concept.
In a tribal concept, yeah.
And I think it's a very natural, 100 people, 150 people, maybe max, something like that. And I think you can get most conflicts resolved rather quickly, because there's really nobody in a position of being the authority or the hierarchy. Everybody's kind of equal, even though there is a leader, and there is a teacher, and there is a janitor, and all this stuff that goes on. It's still everybody has the same job, and nobody really gets paid. The tribe gets paid, in a sense, So everybody kind of contributes, and if they want to make, if you want to do extra things, you can do extra things.
Yeah, you can take this to a lot of different levels, too, because I think in our area, in the St. Petersburg area particularly, there's a lot of people that are forming co-ops and food-growing co-ops that kind of reminds me of the same thing. Maybe you're really good at growing tomatoes at your yard, and then maybe you're really good at growing this
Well, that's
vegetable.
how a tribe would automatically work.
Right,
It would be, it's kind of like a circus. I know there's one author out there that talks about tribe. Our natural modern tribe really is now what circus life was maybe 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still that way. I don't know how many circuses there are, but they still travel around pretty much the same way with much more modern equipment. But the concept is the same. And if you want to get part of the tribe, you have to become, to get in there, you start at the bottom.
So that's a great action item. Ancestry Foundation. YouTube, small little videos, give you little great tips.
Yeah, no, I'll put a page in there on my next newsletter, and I'll put a link to where you can find this stuff, and then you can actually subscribe to it yourself. A lot of good information, and instead of watching, some of these TV shows, I think it's much more value. Most of these talks are only 20, 30 minutes. Some of them go about an hour, so.
Very good.
I found one of your favorite subjects. I'm always digging through these things.
Bittersweet favorite, right?
Yeah, fluoride added to children's milk in school. So this is really being debated. It's already done in some localities. Discussed not only in the United States, but all over the world.
And, folks, let's just talk about this. You have to understand this was the greatest misinformation campaign that ever existed. The idea of fluoride. And I really want to spend a little time on this. And some of you guys might say, Paige, why are you beating a dead horse? I mean, it's not. It's so critical. And I just really believe that so many of our health problems are related to simple things like this, because people have to understand you're not just getting fluoride from your water. I mean, you might say, I don't drink my tap water, but you shower in it and you bathe in it. And I don't drink tap water, but you buy juice, maybe, or, unsweetened tea that's made in a plant where they don't care. So I just want you to really understand this. And I thought this was interesting. The article, I think it was originally on Mercola's site. He's talking about the UK, is actually the one that's adding it into their milk.
Right.
Now, when I think, and I don't mean this anything against it, but when I do think, you look at a lot of Europeans and you wonder, why do their teeth look so bad? Do you ever notice that? I mean, just in general?
Yeah.
A lot of them do, and I think it's just a different focus on, I don't think it has anything to do with the fluoride.
Well, I think
it has to do with
my parents' generation, the reason their teeth went bad is because of the war.
Yeah.
And most of them lost their teeth. My parents both had lost their teeth. So but by the time they got in the United States, they already had the false teeth, because right after the war, everything was lost, because everybody was eating crap. Basically.
Well, and that's exactly right. I mean, when we started eating grains and starches and processed foods, that's when tooth decay happened.
Well, it's the only stuff you can store.
Right.
So that's what you have. That's what we automatically always turn to in
when
abundance.
We're in a famine society.
Yeah. And then somebody comes up with a crazy idea, hey, if we make this a little prettier, put it in a prettier box, and maybe add a little flavor to it, we can actually sell this stuff. Because look, people have subsisted on it, so we can call it food.
And this is why Weston Price, the famous dentist, that's what his work was for years. What's happening to people's teeth? Why is this happening, and why do we see traditional cultures, many of which are hunter-gatherers, that have these gorgeous mouthfuls of dentition that looks wonderful? So, but, just kind of getting back to this, some highlights in this article, it really was a well-orchestrated PR stunt to bail out industries in trouble. The aluminum and the phosphate industries had waste products that were killing wildlife and cattle around their plants,
so
and they had a problem, and their solution was dilution is the solution to the pollution. Let's market it.
Well, they used to have to pay people.
They used to have to pay to get rid of the fluoride.
Yeah,
then they figured out a way for us to pay for it. So now we have our cities paying for hydrofluorosilicic acid to be dumped in mild dilutions, because we've been sold this false science that it somehow protects teeth. Fluoride, naturally occurring fluoride, the natural elemental fluoride, is good for our teeth and bones. Yeah. But that is not, folks, what is in your water or in your drinks, or God forbid people that are even buying bottled water for their babies.
Yeah, and this kind of situation, coming up with a product to form a solution and it ending up in food, is linked to so many different kinds of additives that are in our food, as the food coloring, as industrial oils. Right. Industrial oils were basically oils that were left over from industry of some kind.
I mean, they look at a way, how can we get rid of it? I mean, if it's illegal to dump it in the waterways, then but it's okay to put it in the public waterways for consumption. Yeah, I mean, literally.
You're putting it in the food chain.
This is interesting, too. I didn't realize this. I thought I knew most of these little facts because prior to 1945, prior to the big marketing campaign, I think I've told you, too, that it was Sigmund Freud's nephew, I think, that was involved in packaging this bill of goods. Yeah. Prior to 1945, when communal water fluoridation took effect, fluoride was a known toxin. And, you know, an issue of the Journal of the American Dental Association stated that fluoride at the 1 part per million concentration is as toxic as arsenic and lead. And, folks, that's what our cities are fluoridating. They dropped it to 0.8. That's really close. So all it takes is for you to drink a couple of glasses of red wine that have, you know, a lot of heavy fluoridation with the fertilizers. You know, buy some commercial orange juice or Kool-Aid or whatever. So I just want you to realize that this is just something you've got to try and eliminate your exposure. If you can...
And, you know, they do have a list here of side effects. So that, they actually call them health hazards. And, I mean, there's a lot of them here. Some of them are brain damage and lower IQ, arthritis, increased lead absorption, bone fractures, dementia, lowers thyroid function.
That's why I believe we have the thyroid problem in the nation, too.
Yeah, disrupts the immune system, damages sperm, increases infertility.
Do you sometimes wonder why we now have an infertility rate that approximates something like 35% of all young couples are infertile and having to use fertility services, where 50 years ago the fertility rate was 10% or less, the infertility rate was 10% or less? I mean, just start to look at what happened. Is there a method to this madness?
Yeah, you can see that if you make charts of these things, you can see the correlation between the diseases, our modern diseases, and what's going on and what was added into our food, how our food changed, how all of a sudden we started eating many more grains and less meat, and the meat, of course, has been worse and worse and worse as the years go on, it seems like.
As I was reading this article, I saw, too, Christopher Bryson is an investigative journalist who wrote a wonderful book, very well written, if you're really interested in the politics of fluoride. His book was called The Fluoride Deception. Yes. When we had an opportunity to get our little town that we live in to make the decision to look at the science and then remove the fluoride, I was up against the paid pundits for the Dental Association that came in with their bow ties, and then the city guys were saying, "Yes, doctor, we're so glad you're here, and here's Paige Clarke, you know, a little health." And it was so funny but I bought a copy of Christopher Bryson's hardback book, and I delivered it to every single one of the commissioners.
Wow.
Yeah, and but it was interesting in this article, Dr. McCullough says, more recently, Christopher Bryson, award-winning journalist and former producer at the BBC, revealed the multi-tiered abuse of power by military and industrial scientists and public health officials in his book, The Fluoride Deception. In that book, what he really outlines is that it was in the 40s and 50s, it was between the aluminum industry, the U.S. nuclear weapons industry, and the dental industry. And that's how fluoride as a tooth cavity prevention was born.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Folks, our number here is 877-927-6648. Give us a call if you have any questions or you'd like to join the conversation or ask us anything. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. Yeah.
You've heard Nico De Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, folks. I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and the trend is your friend until it changes. A free special report is now available on the homepage of TFNN.com, and if you have money in the markets, this free report is a must. If your strategy is buy and hold, this report is a must. If you're a day trader, a swing trader, a Forex or options trader, or just getting into the markets, this report is a must. And it's the second best gift you'll ever receive. Look, if you buy a stock and the general market is trending in the other direction, you've reduced your odds of buying at the right time by 70%. Instead, let me teach you how to get that 70% Advantage Plus. The Plus is a free trial to my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. There's no upfront deposit, no charge to your credit card, and I compress decades of education into each daily newsletter. This is a limited time offer, so act now, and I'll teach you how to take the trend and turn it into your best friend. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com. Act now.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle with Paige and Nico here on a happy Friday. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. You know, it's the weather here has been great because it's like in the high 80s, early 90s. Sun is shining most of the time.
But then we get our little afternoon rainstorms.
Yeah,
it's really
cools things down.
Kind of steam comes off the road.
Yeah.
Hey, while we were on break, Mike Mack, thanks for your comments. He was just kind of reiterating some of the points about how children in Central America have always been known to have these beautiful teeth, beautiful dentition. You know, their palates are well formed.
Yeah, especially the native indigenous
the
people.
native indigenous people, and that what they've noticed now is due to snack foods and these American junk food machines and snack bars, they're having some of the same problems. This is exactly what Weston Price uncovered in his 1,000-page book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, which he spent and did his life's work, traveled the world for 40 years doing this intensive research. So it is true, and quite frankly, guys, it is not teeth brushing that protects our teeth. It's nutrition.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and Ramil, somebody, God, his name begins with an R. He's got a book about naturally reversing cavities and natural dentistry. Nadine Artemis is an essential oil, very colorful personality who talks about successful self-dentistry, Nadine Artemis.
Yeah. Well, you know, while I had this injury, it was very hard to brush my teeth with the left hand. So I obviously didn't do a great job of either flossing or
But I don't think you have to worry about it because you don't eat any sugar and carbs.
Well, not only that, but also, of course, I did still do the oil pulling. But I get a checkup every 3 months, and she says,
teeth are
no
great.
change. Yeah,
exactly.
no problems. So she didn't have to scrape any harder than she normally did, and so it really goes to show you that the diet plays a huge role in this whole thing.
And it's very true. If you go back to the days when you used to eat more carb type foods, you can remember like in the morning maybe you felt more fuzz on your teeth.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Because when you're not eating those kind of foods anymore, we don't have that buildup, and that's what we find out. Right. It's the combination of the bacteria and the starchy, carby sugars that make the plaque, and
it's kind of like glycation because the starch and the fat kind of meld together with a little protein, and it just creates a little bit of sticky material. And that sticky material gets caught on something, and then it builds up. You can see how easily that would happen.
So you guys are all learning about the cool stuff like oil pulling and staying away from the carbs and sugars.
Yeah.
So we should all have great dental checkups.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm reading these articles about changes of diet to people who have type 2 diabetes. And one of the things they do mention in here, how a ketogenic diet can help you. Well, it helps you, and ketogenic diet, folks, of course, is merely using ketones for your fuel, which means you're burning fat. You're burning fat.
By restricting carbohydrate intake.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting, these articles that we were reading, and we were back
a few of them back and forth, yeah.
And again, it comes back to almost like this is some kind of surprise. Oh, a ketogenic diet might be great for diabetes. Well, folks, that's what diabetes type 2 is. It is a disease that comes about because you have become insulin resistant due to so many sugars floating in your blood. In other words, a lifetime of starchy, carby, junk food.
Yep,
Generally.
Yep.
Results, and a predisposition. Let's say there could be some predisposition, but I do want people to know this is different than diabetes type 1, which is most likely an autoimmune or a vaccine damage. Yeah. Diabetes type 2 is more of a lifestyle, and it's a reversible. And like
used to only show up in people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and the reason is that the disease, the people in those days weren't eating as many carbs. Now, because of the big intake in the carb
and the supersize me's.
Yeah, exactly. Over the last 20 or 30 years, now you're seeing that age come down where you're actually having adolescents go right into type 2 diabetes at 4, 5, 6 years old because of what they're eating.
We're approaching,
I mean, just think of it this way. What do they start off with? Not breast milk, some soy.
Soy formula.
A formula that some idiot came up with saying, hey, this is what you should feed your kid. Breast milk, that's no good. What are you doing to yourself? I mean,
and you're setting up that
doesn't make any sense.
Soy milk in particular, I'm not trying to get off track, but just as you made the comment, soy formula actually has a very high manganese mineral that's tied in with a lot of mental situations, but then you're messing with the hormonal, the estrogen thing. But getting back to the ketogenic diet.
Let me just get these 3 points. So it says ketogenic diet helps because it restricts dietary carbs, so it improves your blood sugar and insulin levels. Number 2, it eliminates the foods that worsen diabetes, all the starches, blah, 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 and it helps to reverse insulin resistance because you don't have the up and down swing, and your insulin does, which is emergency hormone, kind of does what it's supposed to do. Once in a while it needs, because you've come across some honey.
You need help when you're going on to one of these diets. If you're having blood sugar issues, you want to monitor, particularly if you're already on insulin.
You have to be under care.
You got to work with a doctor. But, ketogenic diet superior to the American Diabetes Association diet in terms of getting this.
We'll be right back, folks. Our number here is 877-927-6648.
The Art of Timing the Trade Charts has officially launched at TFNN. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind software, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, butterflies, ABCs, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the market for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, and even months searching to find. As part of our introductory pricing, we're offering licenses available at only $59 per month. We're so confident that you'll love this new outstanding piece of charting software that we'll even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Lock in your low price today by ordering your copy at TFNN.com. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page at TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
With the stock market flirting with all-time highs and volatility back, now is the perfect time for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights. On Monday, June 24th, Tom O'Brien closed out all 5 open positions in his daily newsletter, Market Insights, with all trades being profitable and ranging from a 2.23% gain all the way to more than an 11% gain in just one position for an incredible 32.7% profit combined between the 5 trades. Let Tom O'Brien's years of market experience work for you. If you'd like to see for yourself what kind of trading newsletter Tom O'Brien delivers to his clients each morning, then now is a perfect time to sign up for a 2-week free trial to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. In a volatile market like we currently have, the potential for fast market moves like we've seen recently is a trader's dream. So don't wait any longer. Sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today at the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Backtech Environmental. For more information, just click the Backtech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. And I want to thank you. We got a comment in the chat room saying they enjoy hearing our show, and it's a nice addition to hearing this. And it made me think of a little quote that many of you have probably heard of it. Most people lose their health trying to gain their wealth, and then they end up spending their wealth trying to regain their health. So we don't want that to happen to any tigers or tigresses.
No, I think we just want to try to give you a kind of hint into what we're discovering and what we're doing about our health, and we're getting up into the years where it really pays to pay attention to what you're doing. I think it's and
getting that mindset. I think it's natural that we should be 70, 80, 90 and moving well and feeling good. I think we were by design. That was the plan.
I mean, I wish we didn't have to go over this whole thing. I wish we could just be guaranteed that what we're eating is nobody's trying to take our health away from us.
But I think that's what we find more and more. It really comes back to the food, the fuel that we use to nourish this machine that is our bodies. So let's value it. I mean, when people say, "Oh, I can't afford that and this," and I think about what they're spending.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in the grocery store and seen some of these young moms and you really look and you realize that there's nothing that's really real food, and they don't know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't purposely not feed their children good food, but kids jumping around.
As much as I think that the word is really getting out there, because certainly this look at way our ancestors ate and their lifestyle is being looked at more and more by so many people. But then I do meet a lot of people that have never even heard, that don't know what we're talking about. And when you say, well, I have a pretty high-fat diet, they look at you like you're nuts and you're going to kill yourself.
Exactly.
Don't understand it at all. So,
or when you say fat's where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there is that double thing going on where you say, boy, I'm so glad so many people know about it, and then all of a sudden you think, why, nobody knows about it.
People do that to me all the time when they find out what I do, and probably with you too.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, yeah, I'm really good. My cholesterol is, I'm on the medication. I keep my cholesterol down. I don't eat any red meat, and I try and keep the fat out. And I look at them and I say, oh, why would you do that? And it always makes for an interesting conversation.
It does.
It's kind of fun to kind of switch it around.
Yeah.
So.
One of the things I think about too is how much different it is these days being somebody growing up in their teens or even adolescence. Because when I grew up, I spent a lot of time with my buddies and my friends, and now the kids are much more confined, and they're spending a lot of time with people just like them, but they don't seem to have the grandfather and grandmother, and the family's usually broken
influence.
Up. So there's the tribal thing is going out of us more and more. And I think that hurts us not just physically and mentally, but just as a society itself.
Socially, and emotional, social.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing in the crime, into all that's going on, what we talk about negative in our modern society, I think that is because of this whole imbalance, and that's what I want to get back. So that's really, I guess, why.
Yeah, and the more we talk about the way we're supposed to be living and eating and breathing and moving, that's kind of really the 5 pillars that I tell people. It's what you eat, how you move, how you breathe, how you sleep, and how you think.
And who you hang around with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. True. So all of those things, but you kind of talking about how we grow up. Growing up in America now, probably 1 out of 3 kids gets diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit disorder, or some other disease.
Yeah.
And there's an article here, why French kids don't have ADHD. It kind of reminded me of the French paradox, why French women don't get fat. Maybe they've got something going on over there. They're a little wiser than us. But
I think we'll have to go over there and just do some experiments.
I think that would be a good field trip. I don't have a problem with that. But actually, this article was talking about the French child psychiatrists don't use the same classification of childhood emotional problems as American psychiatrists. Well, I wonder why that is. Let's think about this for a second. The more we label a condition a disease, you understand that the way it works in this country is once something is labeled a disease, the only cure for a disease is a drug. That's why they've just gone through this whole thing. We just went through, it was on the news, that obesity is now a disease. So I imagine down the road, you and I, if we give people...
We have some nice treatments for them.
Yeah.
And you can put that in Obamacare. You can put that, the insurance can pay for it. Don't worry about it. It's all coming out of our pockets anyway. So,
but stop and think about it. This is where it can be set up where if I was giving advice or you're giving advice that if you move more and eat less and eat the right kinds of foods.
Wait a minute, are you licensed for that?
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Obesity is a disease. And
can only probably be treated by certain doctors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I understand it's a business move.
Maybe Monsanto is the only one that can cure.
And the French have a socialist medicine. Doctors are paid by and if you're in France and you have a baby, I think that the government pays you to stay home with your baby. I'm not so sure some of their stuff isn't really good.
Well, like in Canada, when I was born, when we moved to Canada, my parents got a check until I think I was 16 or 18 years old.
They want to make, that's how it is. They want to make sure that and that's how it is in the UK.
Yeah, it's
and
for
some
being, for your nutrition.
They want to make sure that child is getting what it needs.
Yeah.
This article has talked about the French holistic psychosocial approach also allows for considering nutritional causes for ADHD. Now, holistic people in this country know that. Anyone, if you have a child who's struggling with focus and these kind of things, probably the most prudent thing you can do is start doing food elimination.
Yeah.
And there's lots of very successful programs that are doing that.
I would imagine sugar would be the first thing, and wheat.
Yeah, exactly.
Those two things.
Those
Sugar and
offending
sugar,
foods.
yes.
And they realize specifically the fact that the behavior of some children is worsened after eating foods with artificial colors, certain preservatives, and or other food allergens.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of the point that remember that in this country, we were talking about the diabetes, the more we categorize the struggles that we're having with our self-care, then the more it becomes a disease that they can then create pharmaceutical solutions, and that's kind of what it's all about here.
Yeah, it's that. It's definitely that cycle, and there's how many diseases that you never heard of 50 years ago are there now that they're treating with these drugs?
Restless leg syndrome.
What?
Restless leg syndrome. I mean, you've heard of that.
No, I haven't. Is that right?
I mean...
Restless life syndrome?
No, restless leg syndrome. There's
leg.
a drug
yes.
for that.
Okay, is there really?
Do you have restless leg syndrome? Are your legs keeping you up at night? No. I think it's a magnesium deficiency myself.
It's a problem if they don't keep you up during the day.
Yeah.
The legs need to do that.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, that was just kind of another point to let you know. Realize as we are, in this country, compartmentalizing things, and it brings us back to why we're doing this show. The new care is self-care. We don't have a health care system in this country. We do have a sick care system. And there could be some good things about that part of it. I mean, as all this unfolds, there could be some good things for sick care, and there's some access that's good. But the goal is to try and avoid needing the sick care system in the first place.
No doubt. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So that's what the whole discovery is about. Last week I was asked by somebody about the flour, and I know you were asking earlier about flour.
Flour.
Yeah.
Flour, as in cooking flour.
Yeah, cooking flour.
Yeah.
And what was that question?
Oh, well, the whole idea is what is paleo flour? Kind of when we talk about living a paleo lifestyle or primal lifestyle, we kind of broaden that. And a lot of people would say that flour is not in the paleo ingredient list. But let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, what I mentioned last week, we were talking about almond flour being a substitute. And the author of this one blog that I was reading made an assertion that, what you have to look at is the quantity of it. And if you're making, say, cookies with the almond flour, you have to make a cup for 4 servings. That cup would have 33 almonds in it, which means that everybody beating, 15 almonds or whatever the numbers was, I forget. But it would be many more almonds than you would normally eat. If you ate a couple of cookies, you'd be looking at eating maybe, 20 or 30 almonds, which are a lot of almonds.
Yeah.
Also, some of the manufacturing of the almonds, the way it is probably not as good. My suggestion would stay away from any seed-based flours or even nut-based flours.
Okay. And coconut is considered what?
Yeah, more of a fruit, I guess.
It is.
That's probably a little bit better.
And buckwheat.
Buckwheat, that's the one
Buckwheat.
yeah.
It's too bad it's called buckwheat.
Yeah, because it's not really wheat.
It's not really wheat. It's not related to wheat. But so if you have like...
Well, I up north, I used to eat these great buckwheat crepes, blueberry crepes.
If you accidentally have to have a pancake.
Yeah,
it could be a buckwheat pancake.
Crepes are even thinner, so...
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Right, then you fill it with the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, flours, we want to have fun. We want to not feel deprived. And there are wonderful people who are living a paleo or ancestral or primal or whatever you want to call it diet. What we're doing, guys, is we're trying to encourage you to stay away from the processed GMO foods. We've talked about wheat being heavy. It's not your grandmother's wheat. It's damaging gut lining.
The modern-day poison. Yeah.
It's a modern-day poison. The corn-based products. So let's start looking at some of these alternative flours, and you can find tremendous recipes for making things and using these other flours, using some applesauce, more butter, more oil for the flavor, the coconut oil in the flour.
One of the nutritionists on that Ancestor Foundation show was really talking about all plant food, because it is plant food, has natural products in it to stop the animals from eating it.
natural enzyme inhibitors or coatings to keep.
And not only the grains, but he says also all of these other wild things that are growing out there. And we've really cultivated all these plants to have without these things. So the cauliflower and the things that we're eating these days don't have those things in there. But however, they don't have much nutritional impact in us either.
Well, the cauliflower, I think, is pretty good, don't you?
Well, it's a good. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
There's nothing detrimental, but it's not a great a source of vitamins and minerals.
It's not kale.
It's not like kale. Kale has much
different.
better.
But again,
the thing is with kale, you don't need much of it. And that's what I'm really finding out is we don't need much of these green things. We need much more of the really good dense food like our wild ancestors used to have, and that would be
animal-based foods.
Animal and fish. Based. And on another one of those shows, they were talking about that maybe most of our ancestors, because we live near water, probably seafood or shellfish and all that might have been as much of a third. And then your smaller animals probably the other third, and maybe the last third would have been some form of plant food or whatever else they could be eating. So very interesting to the end. So I will post these on my other newsletter, but you can find them on YouTube if you go to the Ancestry. I think it's a good thing for you to look at and educate yourself on all these different ways of thinking about why it's important that we look backwards.
Let's look backwards to go forwards.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like making little phrases.
That's
today.
very cute.
Looking back to go forward. Yeah.
And we're going forward for sure.
Yeah.
So so the flowers, I really do without them. And I mean, once in a while, my wife will make. And by the way, it's my wife's birthday, so I want to do a shout out,
happy
Ellen.
Birthday,
I love
Ellen.
you. And got a special dinner tonight. We're going out tonight.
I'm not going to let out the secret, but it sounds like you have a nice plan.
Yeah, because we're going to have a really good time, and she deserves it because she works hard, and she's my wife.
Yeah, and she's an awesome girl.
Yeah, she is.
I like Ellen.
Anyway, so I would say just do away with flowers altogether, and I've said that 100 times. I know you're probably getting tired of hearing about it. Anyway, so what else have we got on the agenda here?
Well, I just want to touch on this because I love greenmedinfo.com. It's a great site because it's research-based, evidence-based alternative medicine. Science confirms turmeric as effective as 14 drugs. Guys, this is a natural anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic. The list goes on and on, so it's just more information that it's one of the most thoroughly researched plants in existence today. And I want to encourage you to try and integrate turmeric, whether it be, the spice, by adding it to your dishes. A very easy way to do it. Turmeric likes to be with a fat. Hey, what do we know? We know that absorption of minerals and compounds is often enhanced with a fat.
It would have to be because your membranes, that where this nutrition is going into, is a membrane made of fat. So.
Well, let me just highlight a couple points because we only have a minute. Given the sheer density of research performed on this remarkable spice, it is no wonder that a growing number of studies have concluded that it compares favorably to a variety of conventional medications, including Lipitor, cholesterol medications. So maybe if you just introduce, turmeric, your cholesterol numbers will come into normal range. But again, if you know how I feel, I think we don't really need to worry about it.
Well, if you go to countries that are using turmeric, like the Middle East, India, Middle East,
right.
You find that the
cholesterols are in the normal range.
Exactly.
But again, remember, guys, it's not about your total number. That's a waste. If you go to the doctor, you always want to know what your particle sizes are, your A and B particles. So
especially the LDLs.
But steroid medications, corticosteroids, antidepressants. Aspirin is a blood thinner. It's anti-inflammatory, even for some chemotherapy drugs, for diabetes drugs. So turmeric is a great spice. Take it as a supplement. Add it to your food.
Yep. And write this down. It's 877-927-6648. And we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome to our last segment, folks. This is Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648. And Paige, what is the website for Green Science?
Okay, again, the website that I really enjoy getting good evidence-based information is called Green Med Info. I'll type this at the end of the show, but it's greenmedinfo.com. And you can access it, and you can get deeper into their archives and stuff with a membership. But you can look up a particular subject and find all the studies. It's kind of hard to go to National Institute of Health and so forth and find, they're kind of buried, a lot of the alternative medicine
some
studies.
of the jargon might just get you lost before you find really what you're looking for.
But I think you'll enjoy that site.
Yeah. You know, we talk a lot about the food, of course, and we're talking about protein and fats, that we ingest those, and what really helps us, though, digestively, is some of the nutrients that are in the carbohydrates that I always say I don't eat a lot of.
Right. The saying is, we are not what we eat. We are what we absorb. So think about that.
Okay.
It really comes down to how efficient are we at utilizing the natural occurring enzymes in foods to break them down.
Mm-hmm.
Most foods are packaged with their required enzymes.
Mm-hmm.
Or how efficient are we at producing the enzymes needed? A lot of people that study enzyme science believe that since all life is a series of enzyme reactions, death is imminent when enzyme production has decreased to a certain point.
Uh-huh.
So at the same time, there are famous doctors, of whom I've met one, Dr. Nick Gonzalez, that supports Dr. Kelly's seminal work on the enzyme theory of cancer and treats cancer with high-dose pancreatic pork pancreas enzymes. That literally the pancreas has had the inability to produce the enzymes required to fight off that cancer, and that's a whole great show in itself.
Yeah.
But in general, what we want you guys to get the idea is that it is important that we digest our food, and
especially the greens. You really have to. I think if you're eating steak and that, it's not so important to maybe swallow, to chew it down to a morsel size. But when you're talking your fruits and vegetables, you better be chewing those.
Well, I think in general, personally, I think everybody should chew. They say if we would chew, we'd live longer.
Yeah.
There's the story about the yogi or something, or I always have these ideas. I remember part of it, but he chewed an apple for an hour, and he lived to be 200 and something years old.
Yeah. The apples these days that I've been getting, they don't last, the flavor doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
But I think if you chew meat too long, the flavor is gone.
Yeah. And hopefully we have the hydrochloric acid in our stomach to help us digest the meat.
But the other ones have to be chewed more, first of all, because we don't have some of the things to break down that cellulose.
We don't have cellulase to break down cellulose in vegetables, which is why a lot of Asian, like Tibetan doctors will tell you when they're seeing you're in poor health, they'll say you need to cook your vegetables because you don't have the digestive fire. So one of the things that we do in natural health is we often provide enzyme support, like a supplemental enzyme, if we feel that someone's not digesting their food and they're having symptoms. But what I really like to do is, I'm all about, as you guys know, it's not about replacing, it's about restoring function, restoring that digestive fire, and giving yourself enzymes and or natural herbs that help. Going back to the days of bitters. You remember when you take a shot of bitters?
I don't remember, but I remember people doing it.
We can talk more about digestion. Send us your questions on digestion. I think that would be a great
and you can get us, of course, at Nico at TFNN.com.
And Paige at TFNN.com.
Exactly. And we're going to be back next week with a great show. We don't have a guest lined up this week coming, but we'll be here. And, guys, have a great weekend. Have a great 4th of July also.
Yes.
We'll see you later.
Hi, folks. I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and the trend is your friend until it changes. A free special report is now available on the homepage of TFNN.com, and if you have money in the markets, this free report is a must. If your strategy is buy and hold, this report is a must. If you're a day trader, a swing trader, a Forex or options trader, or just getting into the markets, this report is a must. And it's the second best gift you'll ever receive. Look, if you buy a stock and the general market is trending in the other direction, you've reduced your odds of buying at the right time by 70%. Instead, let me teach you how to get that 70% advantage plus. The plus is a free trial to my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. There's no upfront deposit, no charge to your credit card, and I compress decades of education into each daily newsletter. This is a limited time offer, so act now, and I'll teach you how to take the trend and turn it into your best friend. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com. Act now.